boy, am I glad I did. Boy, am I glad I did, and am I glad I got behind this president, because we are now in the middle of one of the greatest economies we have ever seen in our lifetime. GDP at 4.2%, unemployment at 3.7%, African-American unemployment at an all-time low, Hispanic unemployment at an all-time low, women's unemployment at a 65-year low. There are more jobs than people who are unemployed right now. This economy is so good that even Colin Kaepernick found a job. That's a good 4 million Americans. 4 million Americans have come off of food stamps. That's a beautiful statistic. 4 million people no longer need to be dependent on the government. Under the Obama administration, 13 million people were put on. And in 2 years, 4 million have come off. We have just begun. We have just begun to do what we can do for the American people. Promises kept, promises made, promises kept. And we've just begun. Now, why would you want to stop this? Why would you want to stop all that's going on? The wall's being built, North Korea's coming to the table. We hardly hear of ISIS anymore. American people, small business confidence is at an all-time high. Consumer confidence is at an all-time high. Why would we stop it? Bob Casey wants to stop it. Bob Casey wants to stop what we're doing. This is not the same Bob Casey we remember. That Bob Casey in 2006, when he was elected, was a moderate, pro-life, pro-Second Amendment Democrat. Bob Casey today has moved so far left that he no longer represents the people here in Pennsylvania. He supports sanctuary cities. I was a mayor that did everything I can to enforce the rule of law. Stand up for our law enforcement. Make sure that they were taken care of. Make sure they were safe. And now we have a senator that actually supports open border policies and supports sanctuary cities. The tax cuts that help get this economy going, he's against. So all the things, the contrast between the two of us couldn't be any different. We've been traveling around. Well, again, we all saw what happened with the Kavanaugh hearings. I mean, this is the direction we're going. I mean, that was just a little glimpse of what we can see, the Kavanaugh hearings, the caravans. Our senator said, even before he knew who the president was going to nominate, he was voting no. He wasn't even going to give the person a chance. He was voting no before he even knew their name. Now that's too radical. I think we need to send somebody to Washington that actually represents the values of the people of Pennsylvania, that's going to stand up for the rule of law, that's going to put an end to illegal immigration, that's going to protect and bring back the respect that our law enforcement deserves here in this country. That's going to take care of our veterans. No veteran should ever die waiting in line for health care. No veteran should ever die waiting in line for health care. And the men and women that serve us, the men and women that risk their lives, we should make sure that every one of those great Americans have everything they need to not only make sure that they're safe so that they can keep us and the world safe as well. And we're going to make sure we do that as well. We're going to take care of our senior citizens. And I can tell you, one of the most disappointing of what has happened. Beautiful, we were blessed with beautiful twins, Jordan and Reagan. And I had confided in Senator Casey when we found out that Jordan was sick and had cancer. 4 weeks later, after I told him that, my brother passes away. We buried my brother on a Friday. On Saturday, Bob Casey began running commercials mirroring our situation with our grandson, and having the mother say that if Lou Barletta had his way, children like mine would be denied health care. That is despicable, that is evil, that is heartless, it's insensitive. I had asked the senator to take it down. As I speak today, the commercials are still running. If you want to win an election that bad that you're willing to do anything, I think we've come to a low point here in American politics. I think at some point, people of Pennsylvania deserve better than that. I think they deserve decency in who they send to Washington. Not somebody who's willing to do anything to a family that's already hurting just to try to get elected. To scare people who are sick in the first place I have been clear that I would not support anything that didn't cover people with pre-existing conditions. I would not support any bill that did that. But to use sick people to try to get elected, to try to scare them, to use senior citizens to try to get elected, I just think this is all wrong. I just think what's happening, whatever happening here in Pennsylvania and around the country needs to change. I think you need to send somebody to Washington that's going to have more respect for you than to run commercials like that just to get themselves reelected. So you know, I've been hearing a lot about, you know, as I'm traveling around, we started doing the Red, White, and Blue bus tour. And my dog Riley's on the tour with us, and you know, I knew he was a good dog. I just didn't know he was such a great campaigner. Everywhere we go, Riley's the star. He actually now believes this is his campaign, and we're just there to staff him. But that's okay. It's been a lot of fun traveling around, and you know, people keep saying, "Well, you're so far back in the polls. You're so far back in the polls," and I keep telling them, you cannot listen to the polls in Pennsylvania. The polling in Pennsylvania has never been right. They can't get it right. A week and a half before the election. And he said, you know, they want me to pull out of Pennsylvania because they said I'm down 6 points and we're sliding. And I pleaded with him, do not pull out of Pennsylvania. The polls are wrong. Don't believe the polls in Pennsylvania. And I tried to explain to people, you know, why that is. Why can't they get it right here in Pennsylvania? And I think it's something like this, like especially here in northeastern Pennsylvania, you know, where everybody was a Democrat. I grew up, I was a Democrat. My father was a Democrat. My grandparents were a Democrat. Everybody had to be a Democrat here. That's just the way it was. And we were JFK Democrats. We were Democrats that believed in JFK. And what happened is, over the years, that party just kept shifting further and further and further and no longer represented the values of John Fitzgerald Kennedy. But the folks here, they're not going to change their registration. They're afraid their grandfathers will roll over in their grave if they change their registration. So they stay what they are. They go into voting booth. They look behind them, make sure no one's looking, and vote for whoever they want it for. And they did that for Donald Trump. And they're going to do that for everyone else. The state made it happen. It was right here in northeastern Pennsylvania. It was right here where it happened. In fact, I told our future president that same night in Gettysburg, I said, I'm going to tell you how you're going to win. You're going to win by such big margins in northeastern Pennsylvania that it's not going to matter what happens anywhere else. Northeastern Pennsylvania is going to put you in the White House, and we did. And in fact, The Forgotten, that actually tells that story. That actually tells a story of how Donald Trump became the next president of the United States, and it happened right here. And we're going to do it again. So with